Servus, Männer, it's Red Bull Germany again. I just want to make a brief little video in order to address the recent parliamentary elections in the United Kingdom, in Great Britain. Boris Johnson, with the Tory party, won a landslide victory. That was unexpected for me. I thought that he would win just because, Corbyn is such a lunatic, in my opinion at least, and I think many people agree on that. But that it would be that clear, I had no idea, because if I remember correctly, what I always read is that the country is rather split on Brexit, and that the Brexit vote was not that clear, and also due to some polls it seemed like it's almost a 50-50 split. I might be misinformed on that, but that was always my grasp of things. And this election was maybe not only about Brexit, but I think Brexit was pretty much one of the major points. Boris Johnson is the guy that wants to make Brexit a reality after, in a popular vote, people of Great Britain clearly directly voted for Brexit, for leaving the European Union, something that I commented on way back in the day in one of the earlier videos on my channel. I already applauded the British people for that decision, and I also said back then that I wish that the other European countries, and especially my home country Germany, would not play mean or not try to harm them or make it more hard than it already is for them, but respect their decision and let them leave the European Union in an orderly fashion. That, of course, as you all know, did not come true. The other European states, and I think it is unfair to make it look like the EU is some kind of a new German empire, or it's just Germany. A lot of smaller nations actually have similar interests, and also they have the same goals, and they just hide behind Germany, and they're very comfortable with making it look like that this is all Angela Merkel's personal desire. As you all know, I do not like Angela Merkel at all. I want her gone, and I think she should actually, probably the courts should have to deal with her rather, but I still don't think that the EU is kind of a German empire. It's not really the purpose of this video now, but the EU is also not really promoting German interests or helping us. Germany doesn't even formulate its own interests, so it's kind of hard then to argue that the EU is enforcing German interests. All right. But that's pretty much besides the point for now. I really just want to congratulate the United Kingdom to this decision, and let's see what happens now. I'm very much looking forward to future developments, to what comes next. I might imagine that Scotland especially will also want to leave the United Kingdom now. Might be. I mean, they always say that, and the English people always say, they depend on our money, and if they are no longer in a union with us, then they will be really, really poor and powerless, so they will hurt themselves rather if they really want to leave the United Kingdom. But might be, but that is for the Scottish people to decide, I think. If you want the European Union to respect your decision, I think you also have to respect a potential decision, if it comes to that, if that the Scottish people want to leave the UK and maybe negotiate a deal with the European Union. And I think the same goes for Ireland, or Northern Ireland, I should say. If they want out, I guess you would also have to respect that, I think. But that is all in the future, and maybe it doesn't come to that. Maybe nobody or no clear majority in these areas wants that, so then we don't even have to discuss it yet. But that is all now a possibility, and it's very exciting, and also for many people very scary, actually, I can imagine. But I just hope that people have the wisdom to sort out these things in a reasonable, peaceful manner, just like I hoped that the European Union and Great Britain could deal with that since the Brexit decision, which was clearly not the case, but maybe they have learned a little bit, and maybe public pressure will be high enough that the people will not really accept that stuff anymore from the politicians. But I think we all know that reason and politics sometimes exclude each other, and I hope for the best, but I expect the worst. That's what I will say. And of course, Mr. Johnson now also has to make sure that the Tory party, who I don't know, I could imagine that the Tory party is not so in line with what Mr. Johnson makes us believe he wants. I do not know that. It could be that in the Tory party there are actually many people who also, just like Theresa May, for example, don't really want a Brexit. Maybe they personally have something to lose. Maybe it's against their ideology. We will see. This is all in the future, as I said. For now, I'm just really glad that it turned out to be that way. As far as I can tell, or from what Mr. Johnson says, he believes in nationalism, in nation states. And that is a good thing, I guess. I am no fan of the European Union in its current form. I always said I like a federation. I think Europe is strongest when they cooperate, and they have to cooperate in this world in which we live. But the European Union as a socialist Soviet-style supranational construct is probably, or no, is surely not the right way to go about these things. So I am glad that the UK is out. That increases the pressure, especially the financial pressure on Germany to pay for all that stuff. A lot of things will have to be planned anew, and we have to start from the top. Probably, maybe plans have already been made, but the pressure for Germany is rising at a time, and this is my German perspective for you guys, at a time when Germany is facing probably a recession. We will not be as financially strong anymore in the future, and we are at the moment dismantling our own industry. In former times, industries went down because technological changes, or because there was a lot of competition maybe, or some design choices, or some strategic decisions that weren't so wise. But what Germany is doing at the moment is something completely different, in my opinion at least. We are now, for ideological reasons, without any force or pressure, without any catastrophic changes in the markets or something, we are ourselves disbanding our own industry. And this, I don't know if any nation has ever done that before. I would have to look into that, but that is quite dramatic what we're doing. You could almost say, in a religious fervor, we are throwing away the source of our wealth. We are burning the machine that feeds us all. And I think most people are not aware of that, because they don't work in the manufacturing sector. They are employed by the state or something. And all I want to say in this context is Germany could face an economic crisis very soon, at a time when other nations in the EU expect us to pay much more. And Mr. Macron, of course, has his own plans. He wants basically a European unemployment insurance, or a European welfare state even. And that would mean that German taxpayers have to pay for the welfare state in mostly southern European nations. And this will not work. I mean, this is of course a socialist wet dream, but I think it won't work. All right, but for the time being, I'm just happy that the British people decided like that. It's probably the biggest win for the Conservatives. I almost don't dare calling them that, but for the Tory party since Margaret Thatcher. And I'm very looking forward to what we will be seeing. I don't really trust these people. I don't trust these politicians, but at least the people have spoken, And now, especially because it was also on Brexit for a big part, you can actually tell the politicians, wait, when you were campaigning, you said this and that. Now I want you to deliver. Yeah, if you had voted for the Labour Party, you couldn't do that. All right. So I also think, because I just said Labour Party, that Mr. Corbyn also, of course, had a lot to do with that. I mean, he is probably the perfect candidate for a purity spiraling splinter party, but I don't think he is the man to put at the helm of a party that wants to appeal to the masses, that wants to have the lion's share of the votes. I think that's just, I mean, whoever put him in power or whoever keeps him there must be a saboteur or something. I wonder, has this guy ever received any training or any briefing on how to talk to the media and what things to avoid in interviews? I don't really want to go into so much detail. If you know the news about him, I think you can guess what I'm referring to broadly. But this guy has, he can't talk to the media. He is not someone that most of the people find charismatic or likable or something. So he is not a leader for a major party. And I think that also played a big role in the outcome of this election. All right, so I'm going to look at the birds a bit. I actually came to like that. In southern Germany, we don't have so many of these big birds or seagulls or something. So for people from northern Germany, that is probably nothing special, but I actually like it pretty much. Servus, Kameraden.